Today, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle. DirecTV Stream brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, which means you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. And the best part? There's no annual contract. So stop waiting and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
Every day, the city streets stand between you and your customers, and your business's reputation is on the line. To help protect it, there's the Michelin Agilis Cross Climate Commercial Truck Tire. It's Michelin's most durable, heavy-duty, light commercial truck tire ever, designed with professional-grade construction that resists curb scrubbing in the city. To outfit your fleet with tires you can trust, visit business.michelinman.com/professional services.
I understand she's in an Uber right now, but she's good enough to make some time. It's Sarah Todd, back on the drive. Sarah, where are you right now currently, and who are you with?
I am inside of a taxi on Interstate 94 heading from O'Hare to the hotel in downtown Chicago, and I am sitting next to Trib Jazz, Eric Walden, who I'm pretty sure is taking a video of me doing this right now.
Would you be willing to give Eric a wet willy from us here on the show?
There's no way I'm putting my finger in his ear.
Fair enough.
Eric, I saved you from a wet willy just now.
Fair enough. Hey, I have the weather pulled up. Chicago is one of my favorite cities as long as it's semi-warm, and it looks like you guys have a little rain, but the weekend forecast is awesome. I would imagine you've spent time in Chicago. Yes, Sarah?
Yeah, I've spent time in Chicago. I mean, a little rain is a little bit of an understatement. It's pretty rainy and very gray right now. A lot of crashes on the highway.
65 degrees and sunny in downtown Salt Lake. Not to make you jealous, but that's where we're at right now.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's start with, I guess we can talk about last night. Houston is young. They're rebuilding. You know what? Here's what we'll do. I think it's awesome to have something in our lives right now that's like kind of a sure thing. Like the Jazz are good. They're going to win a lot of games. No part of me thought they would even be challenged last night at all. But do you think they've been challenged accurately and at all so far? I guess Sacramento gave them a little bit of an issue, but it seems like they really haven't been tested just yet.
No, I don't think that they've been tested yet. Sacramento was a little bit surprising just because I don't think that they expected for Sacramento to come out that physical and that gritty in that game. But once they adjusted to how Sacramento was playing, I don't think that was really in question, as well as the other games so far. I think that the biggest test is going to be these next two games. I mean, so far in the season, it'll be their biggest test because you've got their first back-to-back of the season, Chicago, and then you go to Milwaukee on the second game of that back-to-back, and you're playing, Giannis and the reigning champions. So, it's on the road. You're tired on a second game of a back-to-back. That's where they can really show their mettle.
Has anything surprised you rotationally? We talked about this preseason, as far as what we would anticipate, and we know who the frontline guys are. We know who the first few guys off the bench are as well, and I guess the fourth guard minutes between Trent and Jared will be interesting to watch. Eric may be getting a few more minutes than we thought. We'll see what happens when Rudy Gay comes back. But as far as Quinn's rotations, what stood out to you?
Yeah, exactly as you said. I mean, he's using 10 guys right now, and so that stood out. And while Jared Butler's not getting particularly large minutes, if he's shaving a minute here or a minute there off of Mike Conley's time every night, then that's good news for everyone. I think that what will be most surprising is once Rudy Gay is actually cleared to play, what is Quinn going to do with Eric at that point? And so I think it's a good problem to have. It's not a bad problem to have a deep team. And Quinn just might have to extend the rotation a little bit more than what he's used to because Eric has been a really pleasant surprise for them. And he's played really well. I mean, especially last night, he showed a lot of strength and he kept guys in front of him and his offensive boards were great. And those are the kinds of things that you want from a guy that's coming in on a minimum deal.
So I know you've been doing this a while, so you'll understand my skepticism of whether or not Hassan Whiteside can do what he's done consistently, simply because we've all watched Hassan for like a decade. He's really one of maybe the only people in NBA history to get a max contract and then benched like a few weeks later.
Yeah.
So we know that he has it in him. He has all the measurables you could want, and I have been impressed, but you need to tell me if you think this can last.
I mean, that's kind of the Hassan Whiteside experience, right? As like some nights are going to be good and some nights will not. And so I wouldn't set my expectations much higher than that. So far, I think, like you said, he's done things that you wonder if it can be sustainable. But I wouldn't go too far out a ledge expecting for him to be great every night. But I do think that it's an upgrade, and if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, it's an upgrade with a much smaller price tag.
I got to say, I really love that orange beanie and the fanny pack you're wearing. The earrings look nice, and the mask. And are those braids, Sarah? Those look lovely. Well done.
Yeah, those are my braids. Thank you very much.
Can you teach me how to braid hair? My hair's getting long, and I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I can. I learned how to braid my own hair watching YouTube videos. I can help anyone with that.
Very nice. So since Eric has posted a video of you on social without your permission, do you want to rethink the Wet Willie situation?
Yeah, I am rethinking it now. Maybe I might go farther than Wet Willie. I might just give him a dead arm here when I get off the phone with you.
He would deserve it. So the Rudy topic that I want to ask you about is, we had Tony Jones on yesterday, all 5-6 of them, and he said that that's a joke that only a few of us get. He said last year he actually gave Rudy a 5th place vote in the MVP race, and that's fine. I never really bought into the whole Rudy should be MVP last year, even though we all know how important he is to the Jazz, and their concepts really on both ends of the floor revolve around his strengths. So I know that he's great, and I know that the Jazz rely on him. No part of me thinks he's going to average 18 rebounds all year, but if let's just say he's at 17.5 points, 15.5 boards, 3 blocks, and the Jazz have the best record in the NBA, then do we need to have the conversation about, he won't win it, let's be honest, but do we need to have the conversation about whether or not he is a legitimate top 3 type MVP candidate?
I mean, I think it's a legitimate conversation to have. I think that the problem that you're going to run into is that people are going to think about, and whether or not they should, which I think they shouldn't, think about what happened last year in the playoffs. And also, when you're thinking about guys that are MVPs, you think about guys that are a lot more flashy than that. And it's not the way it should be, but that's the way it is. And so, honestly, I think that if the Jazz are a top team again, and we're not talking about at least someone from the Jazz being in the MVP conversation, top 5 at least, then that's a problem. I would be surprised if it was Rudy, because I think that Donovan is sort of the more traditional player for people to go to for an MVP type candidate. And that's arguable too, because like you said, we know how impactful Rudy is for the Jazz, and he's more impactful for the Jazz than a lot of other players are on a lot of other teams. But I just think that the way that voters look at the game is not exactly, sort of in that sense, they go for flashier types.
Yep, they do, and the Jazz do have a flashier type on their roster. Donovan, though, look, he hasn't been bad. The problem with conversations like this is you and I both know they're awesome, they're good, and they're going to be good all year long, barring some sort of catastrophic run of injuries, knock on wood. So I don't want to paint the picture like Donovan hasn't been good. He has, but he hasn't been great yet, and that's kind of how he rolls, both in seasons and in games. He's more of a second-half player, and the second half of the season last year, before he hurt his ankle, he was unbelievable. But early thoughts on Donovan through 4 games?
I think, he takes a little while to warm up for the season. I'm not worried about his efficiency or anything. All of that stuff is gonna bear out, I think, as the season goes. It's not like I really have any thoughts on Donovan that we haven't already said. It's, we're 4th, 5th game of the season, and we're going to get there.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, before we set you loose, you mentioned the road trip coming up. So let's get a thought on the Chicago game tomorrow. Chicago lost to the Knicks last night, but they're off to a good start. It's a good team. They have talent upgrades starting last year. Billy Donovan takes over. This will not be a cakewalk on the road for the Jazz. What are you looking for?
Honestly, probably the same thing that they did last night in Houston. I'd like to see them come out and be aggressive early in the shot clock. We saw Joe Ingles start out really offensively aggressive, moving the ball a lot. They're going to need to do that against a team They're going to need to do that against a team like Chicago, and they're going to have to run and get out and run because those are some young guys who like to push the ball really hard. And so that's the way to just start out the game good, get out there, get an early lead, and I think they can get away with that one.
Well, enjoy the road. Hopefully we didn't mess up your Uber rating. Hopefully they give you 4 stars or whatever. And
Yeah,
any punishment you want to enact on Walden, we've got your back, so you know.
All right, and I'll take a video of it when it happens.
Perfect. Love it. Thank you, Sarah.
No problem. Bye.
All right, there she is, Sarah Todd from the Deseret News, covers the Utah Jazz. Jazz are the lone remaining unbeaten team in the NBA, but they've played 3 pretty bad teams and 1 compromised team. So I'm kind of excited to see how they do against the Bulls tomorrow. Chicago's a much better team this year than they have been, quite frankly, in a number of years. And then Milwaukee obviously will be problematic. That's going to be the second night of a back-to-back in Milwaukee, 5 o'clock Mountain Time. That game's on NBA TV. Is that blacked out in our market? Do NBA TV games get blacked out here? I think they might.
Good question, Spence.
Well, TV and the Jazz, it's always an adventure. Fubo's been great, just so you know. I went the Fubo route. It's been rather lovely. I can watch the Jazz and then third division like Austrian soccer if I'm super bored. What are you doing for Jazz games this year?
Yeah, I have DirecTV Stream.
Oh, so you're good. All right, so DirecTV Stream, Fubo, or you could just go over to DirecTV. I think Comcast is good. It's the Dish folks that have the issue, and I know thousands of Jazz fans are still without the ability to watch Jazz games. And not everyone wants to pay an extra $70 for Jazz games in third division Italian football. I'm sure. I don't know that that's in everybody's budget.
Hardcore soccer fans like yourself, of course.
Yes, indeed. And look, it's a rare group. Folks that really understand the nuances and intricacies of the beautiful game. It's me, Lexi Lawless, Taylor Twellman, Dunny. There's just a few of us.
You, me.
Yeah, us definitely.
Yeah.
On the show. After Chicago and Milwaukee, it's kind of an odd scheduling stretch for the Jazz because they come back home for 1 game against Sacramento and then go back out on the road. But it's not like they're going to Denver or L.A. They're in Atlanta, Miami, and Orlando. And then they're back home for a grip of games against some pretty bad Eastern Conference teams. Off to a great start. And I don't want to sound like monotonous or mundane, but this is the deal. And it's actually awesome that we know how good they are and we know they're going to win a lot of games. And they're well coached. They're deep. They've got frontline talent and great depth on the bench. So star power where you need it and, back up for the stars if they have an off night. And we haven't even seen Rudy Gay play yet. So just go along for the ride. It's a fun team, man, and they're going to be fun all year long. They're going to win a ton of games.
Some read self-help books. Others use meditation. At New Balance, it's believed that peace can be found with a run. The lessons learned while running your race are a blueprint for overcoming obstacles and achieving balance in life. Go beyond the run at newbalance.com. Some read self-help books. Others use meditation. At New Balance, it's believed that peace can be found with a run. You're never truly prepared for adversity, but certain things serve as a guide for moving forward. Whether sprinting or running marathons, the physical and mental requirements become ingrained. Visualizing an outcome, synchronizing breath and body, pushing past pain and fatigue. Those hard-learned lessons serve as a blueprint for overcoming obstacles and achieving balance in life. Go beyond the run at newbalance.com.